right, hello everybody, and welcome to episode 5. All right, cool. Paddy, how you doing?
I'm not doing too bad, Yank. I'm not doing too bad at all. But I know you're in a bit of distress this morning.
Distressed and I'm bloody, bro.
Bloodied and distressed. Can you explain to anybody that's listening what happened to you this morning, just before I encountered you down the back alley outside your house?
I live in an apartment building. I live on the 5th floor. I just walked down the stairs. As I opened the door to walk out on the street, I stepped right into a hole. A hole. There were 6 construction workers there drilling and ripping the concrete out of the ground. And as I opened the door, I literally just stepped and fell into a hole which bloodied my shin in 2 different spots.
Your shins actually look pretty nasty.
It's
I gotta
pretty
say.
nasty.
Yeah.
I was very angry. I'm a little bit more calm now.
Yeah.
They're like, sit down, sit down, sit down. I sat down. And then the dirty-ass construction worker tried to stick his thumb in my wound to examine it. I said, take your hand away. So at that time, I was just shocked and distressed and shaking a little bit, I guess. And then I started walking away. And as I walked away, I ran into you.
Yeah.
And you said, what's up? And I was like, I'm pissed. I just fell in a hole.
I know. I came around the corner. I was actually surprised to see you out of bed and on the street at 10:30 a.m. I gotta say, Yank. Usually I drank the Yank's ass out of bed at 11 o'clock on a Saturday morning. But he was on the street and he was like irate, like fucking flipping out. And then I seen all the construction workers. They'd stopped working. They looked tense. You can actually hear them now again working outside. So we're sorry to anybody that's listening if you can hear that background noise. But that's the guys outside drilling holes with fucking jackhammers.
Trying to kill white people.
But literally the Yank is not exaggerating here at all. Right outside his entrance door at the bottom of his apartment building entrance, there's like a fucking full-on construction site happening that they just set up overnight. They didn't put up signs, there's no barriers, there's no nothing, and they basically jackhammered a big hole on the entrance into his apartment building and closed the door. So there's no way of avoiding the hole when you step outside.
No.
It's
there's
insane.
No way.
It's crazy.
There's no way.
I've never seen anything like that before in my life. And I work construction in Australia. All over Australia, and health and safety there on construction sites is taken fucking super serious, man. Like,
same in the U.S.
really
Yeah, I would
seriously.
be suing right now if we were in the U.S.
We ain't gonna be soon here in Taiwan.
No.
That's
but,
just the way shit rolls, isn't it? You know?
Yeah. Me and Paddy, we walked away, went to the grocery store. When we came back, my landlord was here. She's like, I'm so sorry. Is it okay? I'm like, no, it's not okay. I just fell in a hole and cut my legs. She's like, well, you can claim it. Still don't know what that means, but
Yeah.
I like your suggestion, and I'm going for it. Paddy suggested that I try to get a month's free rent out of it. At least a
Yeah.
discount. I mean, come on, that's not cool. That was the landlord's fault.
Yeah.
There's only 5 apartments in this building.
Yeah.
All she had to do, we're in a line chat. Line
Yeah.
is like Facebook. All she
In
had to
Asia.
do was send us a message last night and say, hey guys, tomorrow morning there's going to be construction.
Yeah.
There's going to be a giant dangerous hole in front of the door, so beware. And they could have had the door open. When I walked
Yeah,
downstairs, the door was
hey,
closed, so I
man,
just
look.
opened the door and stepped.
Look, that's Taiwan for you, man. That is Taiwan for you. In certain situations like that, it's just like I don't know what does be going through people's heads. But you know what? It was like it's like a Looney Tunes cartoon, like you mentioned earlier.
Yes.
It was literally like that. Like open the door,
Wile E.
whoop,
Coyote.
bing,
Yes, it
straight
was
to the
like
hole.
that.
Could have been so much worse as well. Fuck, man.
Dude, and
That
like,
could've been
I
so
saw
much
like
worse.
rusty bars. Like there's like
Yeah.
rusty bars in the dude's hand.
Rebar.
I
Rusty rebar.
need to go get a tetanus shot. I could get an infection.
Yeah,
or
they look
something.
pretty nasty, I gotta say. So yeah, so you're justified in being a bit pissed off this morning, Yank. I would be too.
I'm actually pretty. It's been quite a while now. I'm relatively more calmed down and humbled.
Yeah, so you know what? To kick today's podcast off, let's just get any quick feedback we got from last week's episode about Pablo Escobar's cocaine hippos and the Sackler family, the most evil sons of
Yeah.
bitches in America.
Wow, interesting topics.
Very interesting
That was
topics.
good
I hope anybody that listened to them enjoyed them. Please like the podcast, share it, follow it, and hit us up on Instagram, Paddy and Yank _podcast. So Yank, did you get any feedback?
I did get feedback. I got feedback from an Irish person.
Really?
Yeah, that's so
So
dope.
what you got feedback meaning what? He wrote a message to you?
He wrote
'Cause
a
I didn't
message
check.
directly towards me, which I like. That's pretty cool.
Okay,
I'm
okay.
the Americans getting messages from the Irish. I love it. Irish, give me more. I want more. All right.
All right. Well,
Americans, send your messages to Paddy.
And you wouldn't let me read this either, which I thought was great. So I'm excited to hear what this fucking message is about. An
Dope.
Irish man messaging you about me.
Yeah, that's even better.
This can't be good. Hit me with it. Let's go.
So the message is from Johnny in Ireland. This is what he says.
Okay, Johnny in Ireland. Where's he from in Ireland?
I don't think it says.
Oh, it doesn't say no. All right.
Okay, cool. Hey, Yank. That Paddy fella is talking out his hole. Flat 7-Up and dry toast is a thing in Ireland.
Yeah.
When you are sick, but not hard-boiled eggs, think you have a plastic patty. in your midst. In your not your mist, your midst.
A plastic Paddy. Oh fuck! All right, Johnny. Well, I'm sorry your mother didn't love you as much as my mother loved me. But when we were sick, where I came from in Ireland, in the west of Ireland, we got dry toast, flat 7-Up, and hard-boiled eggs. So hey, what can I say?
It could be a geographical difference.
Yeah, he's probably from a different county in
Yeah.
Ireland. So, Johnny, if you're still listening to the podcast, can you send the Yank in, seeing as you seem to message the Yank,
I love it.
and tell him where you're from in Ireland, because it could be that you're from a different part of Ireland where you guys didn't have eggs yet and chickens, but where I grew up, we had chickens and eggs, and we had hard-boiled eggs when we had a sick stomach.
Maybe he didn't have chickens where he grew up.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to comment on one more thing though. He called you a plastic patty. The visualization I get is like a lily patty in the river, and a plastic one that toys could play with, that kids could play with, like a frisbee. But here I have come to find out plastic patty is actually a word.
Yeah,
All right.
plastic Paddy's a word. We would take it as a bit of an insult. So
Let me go. Now, do you think it's a noun, a verb, or an adjective?
I don't fucking know. I'm not an English teacher.
It's a noun. Okay. Informal, derogatory. A person who, although not born in Ireland, is of Irish descent and places great importance on Irishness.
Okay.
That sounds like a lot of my friends back home.
I don't think that really sounds like a bad thing, but for an Irish person to call it, for another native Irish to call another native Irish person plastic Paddy, we would have taken it as an insult growing up.
So it's just like any of my friends back home. You're like your great grandma's Irish.
Yeah.
And you take a lot of pride in your Irishness.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Like a lot of Irish Americans, people from
a
Boston, people
lot
from
of
New
people
York.
are like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see any problem with it.
Yeah, I don't see why it's a bad thing
No.
either.
And you know the thing is about this too, any kind of stuff like that I let it slide over my head because okay, I was born in Ireland, I was raised in Ireland until I was in my 20s, but I don't have this Irish pride. I'm happy to be from Ireland. You know what I mean? I think there's a lot of great things about being Irish. Yank, can you tell me something, that you think is good about being American? Or that you dislike about being American?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't have much American pride. I never have.
Okay.
I always distrusted my country, and over the years they've really justified my distrust.
So you don't want to make America great again because you don't think America was ever great to begin with? Is that what you're telling me, Yankus?
Oh man, I could get some serious backlash for that. There have been good times and there are good aspects, but I don't know. It just seems as a whole we do more bad than good. And not
war.
And this is the thing. Not only
war.
Not only bad to other countries, but also bad to their own citizens, like the FDA. You know what we talked about last week. Like the government allowed that to happen.
Yeah.
How am I supposed to trust a country that's allowing a pharmaceutical company to kill, what was it, 500,000?
500,000
500,000 people? Like, I don't know. I've just never had trust for my country.
But you know what? There's also some great shit about America. Like,
Yes.
I love certain things about America. Tell me something that you love about America. You think that's America? That's great. That's good about America.
One of the best and worst things about America is the food. It's fantastic, but that's also why we have a big obesity problem. My mom asked me not to stop using the word fat so frequently, so I'm going to do that.
My sister told me that she was glad we used the word fat and not overweight.
Oh, that's
She
interesting.
said we're saying it how it is and we're being blunt.
So your sister would prefer we not be politically correct, and my mom would prefer we
Well,
are politically
Yank,
correct.
how politically correct have I been so far in the podcast?
Never. Okay, let me jump on a couple more things.
Yeah.
Good things about America. Because
Music.
you got to do that. Yeah, the music and the movies. The arts, right? Music and movies.
Oh, man.
Yeah, we make some good music
The
and we make some good
blues
movies.
music. The blues was born out of the deep south in America. Come
Yeah.
on.
Ray Charles is one of my favorites. One of my absolute favorites.
B.B. King, John Lee Hooker, Howlin' Wolf. Howlin' Wolf's one of my favorite
Howlin'
blues
Wolf's
singers of all time.
Really good. Yeah.
Yeah, so the music had come amazing. American music.
Yeah. So when I first saw this message, I actually thought Plastic Patty meant not a real Irish person.
That's how when they say it to you, if an Irish person says it to an Irish person, they're saying it in that way.
Oh.
Meaning they're saying it meaning that.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
So now I want to test you. I need to make sure you're Irish. I don't want to get sued some time in the future because this dude who
Okay.
claims to be Irish is
Okay.
actually a plastic patty and not a real patty.
So you think you got a fucking intruder within your midst here?
I need. To
And
get
tomorrow,
to the
hey,
bottom of
whoa,
this.
whoa, whoa! Tomorrow's St. Patrick's Day.
Holy moly!
Okay, we're keeping this podcast today at the start, at least, on a bit of an Irish theme. So you're going to test me to
Absolutely.
see if I'm Irish. How are you going to do that? You're going to take some of my fucking blood and do a DNA test? It's going to take way too long.
You're right. I'm gonna have to kill you and open you up.
See if I
right.
got a shamrock for a heart.
All right. My dad gave me a few questions.
Okay.
My girlfriend gave me a question, and I have some questions.
Oh, so you've been planning this shit out?
Because their questions were not really appropriate.
So you've been planning this shit, fucking hijacking me here on fucking the podcast with some Irish questions. All right,
Pretty much. Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to skip some of these questions. What side of the road do people in Ireland drive on?
People in Ireland drive on the left-hand side of the road?
Actually, that would have been a good joke. They drink so much they never know.
Everywhere but the road.
They don't drive on roads.
No.
Do you know?
The left.
You are correct. In Britain and Ireland,
Boom.
you drive on the left-hand side of the road. India as well, I remember that.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, it was really hard for me to get used to driving in India.
So that's 1 out of 1. How many questions are you going to ask me?
Let's see. Let's see how many you can answer, motherfucker.
Okay, so I got 1 out of 1 so far.
Are there a lot of hot guys? That's from my girlfriend.
Your girlfriend asked me a lot of hot guys in Ireland.
Yes.
I'll answer that by saying, do I think Irish people are ugly or handsome?
Uh-huh.
I don't really know.
Mm.
I would say, I don't know. I'd say we've got a lot of ugly people there as well, and we've probably got some handsome people. Yeah.
I'm infatuated by Irish women.
Really? In what way?
God, I stuttered that because I was like, do I want to say this?
You're infatuated with Irish women. How?
Because they're white like me.
Yeah.
But they have this beautiful accent, and
Look
to
at
me,
you, big old white supremacist
to
there.
me, it doesn't make any sense. Like if you see
like the accent, yeah?
if you see somebody that looks different and they sound different in your head, that makes sense. But if you see somebody that looks the same but sounds different,
Yeah.
it's exotic.
Okay.
Like me and you talked about it before.
Yeah.
Taiwanese girls
Yeah.
who studied English
Yeah.
in England or Australia.
Yeah.
It's crazy. You got an
For
Asian
you-
girl
for
walking up
for
to
you,
you
not
speaking.
for me. I think it blows my mind because I'm shocked by it, but I don't think it's hot. I'm not saying that I don't think it's hot, but it's not. I like the broken Taiwanese English and that kind of
Oh.
thing, yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, hey. Okay.
So I got what? I got 1 out of 1.
Yep. What's the population of Ireland?
You son of a bitch, you. Well, it's 1 less now because I'm over here in Taiwan. The population of Ireland, I would guess, is around 6 million people.
Population of Ireland is about 5 million.
About 5 million?
Yep. What'd you say?
Fuck. So I was over by 1 million. I said around 6 million.
Yep. About
Okay,
5 million.
That's good. That's better than I thought. So I got 1 right and 1 wrong.
Yep.
Hit me.
What is the national anthem?
The national anthem of Ireland is Aron Navian,
All right.
which is Gaelic.
All right.
Do not ask me what that fucking means because I don't know.
Can you sing it?
I can hum it. I can't fucking sing it. It's sang in Gaelic as well.
All right, cool. All right.
Do you want me to hum it? No.
Hum a little bit.
And then it just goes higher.
All right, stop before people stop listening.
All the Irish people at home stood up automatically.
Really? You
Put
think
their
so?
hands over their fucking hearts. Irish people are proud people.
All right, let me say something. Fuck you,
Yeah.
construction workers.
Yeah, yeah.
Fuck you.
We're sorry about that.
Fuck
outside.
you. I'm sorry, Mom.
So I
fuck
got-
you. Not fuck you, Mom. Fuck you, construction workers. And I'm sorry, Mom, for saying fuck.
I'm not doing too bad, am I? I got 2
You
right
know,
and
you
1
know,
wrong
you're
so
doing
far.
really good. Really good. All right, all right, all right.
So what's your next question?
All right, when was the Easter Uprising?
What year was the Easter Uprising?
Yeah, what year was the Easter Uprising?
1916.
1916. Good job.
Boom! Yes.
Now,
And
next
for anyone that doesn't know, the
episode 6, I would like to learn what that is.
Okay, I'll keep it till episode 6. So the Easter
Okay.
Uprising in Ireland
Okay, cool.
of 1916.
All right, next one. When is Ireland's Independence Day?
1916. No, I don't. When is Ireland's
Like
Independence
America's
Day?
is July 4th. Okay, I'm sorry. Do you guys have an Independence Day?
No, we don't have an Independence Day.
All right, question.
We
Good
got St.
job.
Patrick's Day that's tomorrow.
Well, that's a good question. So okay, cool. How old do you have to be to drink?
18.
18. I thought you'd say 3. What % taxes do you guys pay?
I have no fucking idea. I haven't lived in Ireland really.
In America, it's about 40%.
Yeah.
Now, I'm expecting somebody to correct me on the exact number.
Really?
I know Germany's about 40 to 50. America's around 40, and Taiwan is 6.
Oh man.
I think Taiwan you can pay as little as 4,
Yeah.
as much as 6.
Okay. Well, I haven't really lived in Ireland for about 11 years now, so like
Okay.
properly, like I've been back there for a couple of months to visit. But
All right, and I can't even remember which part of Ireland you're from. What part of Ireland are you from? Like north, south, east, west?
I'm from the west.
You're from the west. Okay.
but I was born in the East.
Okay. What food is Northern Ireland famous for?
What food is Northern Ireland famous for?
Listeners, I may have gotten a plastic patty.
You're talking about the north.
Guys, if there's a real Paddy out there that's looking to join a podcast, send the Yank a message.
Oh, okay, I'm gonna give my answer. What food is famous? Is Northern Ireland famous for? I'm gonna say fish and chips.
Okay. I don't know.
Get the answer, you dumb motherfucker. I don't know. Fish and chips. And I'm not saying that because 6 of the counties are under British rule and England is known for its fish and chips.
Ulster fry.
Ulster. What? What's Ulster fry?
I don't know.
So Ulster is the province up north in our country. So in Northern Ireland, it's the province of Ulster.
Champ, Ulster fry, vegetable roll, pasty, 15s, wheaten bread, Irish stew.
Oh, okay, Irish stew. The whole country's known for Irish stew.
I don't know. Wikipedia doesn't always give good, clear answers.
Okay, anybody from Northern Ireland, I don't know the answer to that question, and the Yank can't find an answer either. Anybody that's listening from Northern Ireland, do you guys have some kind of famous food up there that you're known for? Let us know.
Okay. I have a few questions from my dad.
Okay.
Does it rain a lot?
Yes.
Okay. What is the best?
Shit ton.
What are the best places to visit?
Oh, we got a lot of cool places in Ireland. Giant's Causeway is cool. It's up in Northern Ireland. It's all the volcanic rocks, and they're shaped like kind of like hexagons, and they all go out into the ocean. That's pretty cool. Also, the Cliffs of Moher in the west. They're these massive fucking cliffs right on the edge of the fucking ocean. Pretty scary too. There's like a little sign as you get to them, as you're about to walk out, and it's like, once you pass this sign, basically, if you die,
Let's get some pictures or videos on the Instagram page because I want to see.
Cool.
I'm sure everybody else does too.
Yeah. So the Cliffs of Moher, Kerry down in the south, Cork and Kerry, some beautiful. We got a lot. Ireland has got a lot of fucking amazing beaches.
I want to go.
But we just don't get the weather.
Oh,
you know
really?
What I mean? They just don't get the weather back there.
So you guys have a bunch of beaches, but it never gets warm enough to go enjoy them?
That's it, pretty much. Like, you know what I mean? It's always stormy, wet,
You got to tell that story sometime about you on the boat.
When I
maybe next
cool.
next week.
When I paddled out
that's
across,
a good story.
I paddled out across
that's a really good
dinghy
story. Yeah.
in the ocean. Yeah, that's pretty fucking crazy. All right, I wouldn't do it now.
Cool. Let's keep going. My dad said, "What is Northern Ireland?"
Oh God. Okay. All right. The short answer to that question: what is Northern Ireland? Okay, Northern Ireland is the 6 counties that are currently occupied by the UK, Great Britain. That's what Northern Ireland is. The north of Ireland is the north of our country. But when we refer to Northern Ireland, we refer to the 6 counties.
Are you telling me the north of Ireland and Northern Ireland are kind of two different things? Are they referred to different things?
The north of Ireland, we would just refer to the north of our country. So every county that's in the north would be called the north of Ireland.
Got it.
Northern Ireland, generally, we see
counties controlled by Great Britain.
Yes, under British rule, still to this day.
6 counties under British rule.
Yep.
Even today.
Yep.
Now, all of Ireland is not under British rule.
No, the other 26 counties in the Republic are run and controlled from the Dáil, which is our parliament in Dublin City.
Okay, hold on. I'm going to back up a little bit. How many counties are in Ireland?
32 counties.
32 counties. So you guys do not have states like the U.S.?
Counties, states, I mean...
Same thing?
Yeah, I guess so.
So 32 counties, and the north of Ireland is made up of 6 of those counties. I'm
not sure how many counties are in the north of Ireland.
Come on, hey, real Paddies, message me.
Hey, but I know 6 of those counties in the north of Ireland are under British rule, yes.
Are those the only 6 counties that are under British rule?
Yes, they are.
That's interesting.
Yep.
Okay. All right. That is all the questions for today.
Awesome. How did I do?
Pretty well. Actually, the county question, I just came up with that one right now, but I think that was a really good question.
Yeah,
I was going to ask you like how many states are in Ireland, and I was like, I don't even know if they have states. I was like, I don't even know what kind of government Ireland has. So I guess here's a final question.
A corrupt one.
What kind of government does Ireland have?
A corrupt, backwards, fucking stupid-ass government. That's the kind of government we have in Ireland.
Something else I want to talk about in the future. Celts and Druids. They originated in Ireland, correct?
Yep.
I want to talk about that next time.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, cool.
All right, so let's go ahead and move forward with the podcast. Keep things rolling.
Yeah, so that was your little test on how Irish I was because somebody called me a plastic patty. All right, so Yank, let's just jump into it today. Keeping with the topic of Irishness, seen as tomorrow's Paddy's Day, or St. Patty's Day as they call it in the north of America, which is actually not, we don't consider that a correct term. Paddy's Day, St. Patrick's Day.
We say St. Patrick's Day as well. St. Patty's Day is just like the slang.
St. Paddy's Day is okay. St. Patty's Day is not. Some people in the North American canon that they call it St. Patty's Day.
Oh, they pronounce the T's.
P-A-T-T-Y.
You're saying it's wrong.
Yeah, well, it's Paddy's Day. It's P-A-D-D-Y.
Okay.
So St. Paddy's Day.
But it comes from St. Patrick.
Yes.
Patrick has a T in it.
Yep.
But
Yeah,
when you
good
short
point.
Patrick to Paddy, there's no T's.
Good point. I don't
Hey,
fucking
bro,
know.
who's St. Patrick?
Oh, Jesus. Don't go down.
Come on,
this-
tomorrow's St. Patty's Day.
don't go down this
You
rabbit
wanted
hole.
me to test
Okay,
your,
okay,
your
okay, okay.
Irishness.
Okay, I could be wrong. I'm not going to check any shit here on Google or on thing. I'm going to go off the top of my head. St. Patrick, I think, was Welsh. St. Patrick was Welsh, and he was stolen by pirates and brought to Ireland and left in Ireland. And then I think he became a shepherd or some shit like that. And he brought Christianity to Ireland. So fuck you, St. Patrick.
He's not a good person. He's like Christopher Columbus.
I mean, I don't know if he went around killing people or anything like that, but you know what I mean?
He
Big
wasn't
deal.
Irish. He was born in Britain.
In Wales.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, in Wales.
Yep.
From a wealthy family.
Yep.
Near the end of the 4th century. Say here at the beginning, he wasn't Irish, but he found his faith while being held as prisoner by a group of Irish raiders.
Like Irish pirates, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
He's the patron saint of Ireland.
Yes.
One of Christianity's most widely known figures.
Man.
His life is a mystery.
He climbed a mountain in the west of Ireland called Croagh Patrick. It's a pretty cool mountain to climb. It's in Mayo in Westport if anybody ever wants to check that out. It's a very cool mountain to climb. Anyways, Yank, keeping today's topic on Irishness, just for the start, did you hear about the amazing discovery during the week?
I did not.
Okay, and this ties in with an Irishman, Ernest Shackleton. Ernest Shackleton's ship, the Endurance, which sank in 1915, that's 107 years ago, was recently found. This
What's
is
his name again?
Ernest Shackleton.
It was his boat.
It was his boat, yeah. It was called the Endurance. He was born in County Kildare in Ireland, and he'd done 3 expeditions to the Antarctica.
You said 1916?
1916 what?
When was he?
The ship sank in 1915.
The ship sank
Yeah.
in 1915.
The ship sank in 1915, and he led 3 expeditions to the Antarctica. The first one was in 1901, and the second one was in 1907, and then his last one, or the one that the Endurance sank on, was, I think, in 1915, 1914, 1915. Now, back then, it was the race for the South Pole, for the first exploration to reach the South Pole. We're talking about, uncharted territory here and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, unbelievable. So the race for the South Pole had already been achieved by a Norwegian expedition, and the guy's name was Roald Amundsen or something
Okay.
like that. So in 1911, he was the first person to reach the South Pole. So Shackleton said the only thing left to do in Antarctic exploration, or the greatest thing to that, because that was the top dog, that was the top prize, reaching the South Pole first, you know what I mean? It's like the first person to summit Everest, okay? So Ernest Shackleton believed that the next great thing to do in Antarctic exploration would be to cross the entire length of the continent of Antarctica.
Okay.
So what he done was he got this ship, the Endurance, which ties into the story pretty ironically because he changed the name of the ship. When he first acquired the ship, it was called something else, and he changed the name of the ship to Endurance. He had a family motto and had something to do with endurance, which is very fitting for what happened after the ship sank. So after the ship sank, like you're talking the middle of fucking nowhere, like the Antarctic, like come on. So when Shackleton's ship, it got packed in by the ice, right? So imagine out there, like they're moving super slow through huge, thick snow and ice, and their progress at the start of this expedition was super fucking slow. And then over time, the ship basically just came to a stop. It couldn't move any further because the ice and snow just packed in around it, right?
Wow.
So they got off the ship. They made camp on the ice. So they camped there for months. Then in something, I think it was something like October, the water receded a bit and the ship was actually floating again in water. So they thought, oh shit, we're going to get out of here now. All the ice came back in with a vengeance and the ship eventually sank. And what they'd done was,
And they just died right there.
nope, all 28 of them survived.
What?
You know what? This is one of the craziest. It's one of the greatest survival stories ever. So when the ship sank, they spent time like on the ice, camped out on the ice throughout the whole winter of 1915. Then after months spent in makeshift camps, as the ice continued to move itself northwards, they took to lifeboats. So what they'd done was they would have had old wooden rowboats, and they took to these rowboats, and they managed to reach this inhospitable, uninhabited island called Elephant Island, right? Now, once they were there, Shackleton made the decision that, look, like, nobody's coming for us and all this kind of stuff. Like, we've got to help ourselves, like, and...
Sounds like a good movie.
I think they made a movie about this.
Yeah?
I think they made a movie about this, yeah. Him and 5 other people, and I mean, Shackleton was a badass. So he's one badass Irish man that was on this boat, but there was an even more badass Irish man on this boat that I'm going to tell you about in 1 second. So they made a
I
1,000.
want to interrupt you super briefly.
Yeah.
This sounds like the kind of situation you might be forced to eat the other people with you.
I know. Doesn't it sound like that?
Right?
They didn't have to eat anybody. They ate mainly seals.
Wow.
Fucking mainly seals. But I guess up in that other place they didn't have seals, did they? So Shackleton and 5 others, they made a 1,300 kilometer open boat journey to reach a place called South Georgia. So that journey alone was like in the roughest hurricane-infused seas, like crazy, and they done it on these rowboats. Like,
Oh my God. And this was in 1915.
yeah, that was in 1915. Yeah, and they managed to get everybody back to safety. Like
And what was his name one more time?
Ernest Shackleton.
Ernest Shackleton. And
Yeah.
this was in 1915, and the name of his boat was Endurance.
Endurance, yeah, and he was an Antarctic explorer. But also on this ship was another ballsy Irishman. And back then they had big cojones, you know. Back then that was when men were men, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just fucking spend fucking 3 years out in the fucking ass camping, you know what I mean? Sailing across the ocean in fucking rowboats. But the other Irish guy that was on the ship, I'm going to mention him really quickly, and his name was Tom Crean. I mean, if you're from Ireland and you're listening to this, you should know who Tom Crean was. He was a fucking legendary Antarctic explorer. He had also been on 3 expeditions to the Antarctic before, and he was from County Kerry in the south of Ireland. And there's actually still a bar down there called the Tom Crean South Pole Inn, where you can still go in, and it's got lots of memorabilia regarding him or relating to him. I really want to go and check it out next time I'm back in Ireland. But this is 10 extraordinary things you didn't know about Tom Crean. This guy was like a fucking...
I'm sorry, his last name is...
Tom Crean.
Crean.
Yeah, C-R-E-A-N.
C what?
C-R...
C-R...
C-R... C-R... Hey, it's fitting for fucking ships, isn't it? C-R-E-A-N. So Tom...
C-R-E-A-N.
God damn you, Yank. See, Tom Crean, right? 10 amazing things you didn't know about Tom Crean.
Cool.
So, the Albert Medal for Life Saving. He was awarded this thanks to the miraculous and heroic feats completed by Tom Crean on the 3 major expeditions he took part in. He was awarded the Albert Medal for Life Saving. I'm guessing it's the highest medal you could be awarded for life saving, whatever like that. He was a Kerry man from the Kingdom. That's what they call Kerry. They call it the Kingdom.
Then or now?
Still to this day, Kerry's referred to as the Kingdom.
Kerry is a county?
Yeah.
But they call it a kingdom.
They call it the Kingdom.
The kingdom.
Yes, the county of Kerry is called the Kingdom. Right? Tom Crean was an avid animal lover, and you might very well have seen this picture before, Yank. That's Tom Crean there.
Definitely have not seen that
Okay,
picture,
so
but
I will
it's
put this.
very
I will
cute.
put this up on the Instagram page the next day. This is Tom Crean, and he was an avid animal lover. And in this picture, he's he's holding like 4 husky pups, and he's got a big ass pipe coming out of his mouth, and he looks rough and rugged in this motherfucking picture. He spent a whopping 27 years in the Navy.
Wow.
He spent 27 years in the Navy, and that was the British Royal Navy.
Mm-hmm.
Not the Irish Navy, even though the Irish probably didn't even have a Navy back then. But because he was from Kerry, people were saying he spent 27 years in the British Navy.
You say he was on the boat with Edward Shackleton?
Ernest Shackleton, yes.
Ernest Shackleton.
Yeah. He had a big family. He had 10 brothers and sisters.
Wow.
10 brothers and sisters, and they came from a poor farming family.
Oh, no. It's going to make it a lot harder.
Yeah, and he came from a small village called Anashkal.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm saying that right. I hope I am. Sorry, anyone from Kerry. Okay, Tom Crean spent more time in the ice and snow than his more famous explorers. And he also outlived them, right? So back then, the 2 most famous explorers, let's say, for Antarctic exploration would have been Captain Robert Scott and Sir Ernest Shackleton, who we're talking about now. Yet Tom Crean, he done explorations with both these guys, right? They're heralded as the 2 biggest in that field, right? But during his Antarctic explorations, and while not being remembered as famous as them, he spent more time in the ice and snow than either of them, and he also went on to outlive both of them.
Wow.
So this is the list I'm reading from, and it says the number 1 fact on their list about Tom Crean is that he performed what many say was the greatest single-handed act of bravery in the history of Antarctic exploration. So when one of his companions, a guy called Lieutenant Evans, collapsed 35 miles from safety on the ice and the snow, in search of help, Crean volunteered to undertake a hazardous journey across treacherous terrain in sub-zero temperatures with virtually no food and no sleeping bag or tent, and his trek lasted over 18 hours. Like, and you're talking like inhospitable fucking terrain there. And he's like, no sleeping bag, no tent.
This guy was like a David Goggins.
Fuck yeah, Tom Crean's the David Goggins of Antarctic exploration.
Yeah.
He was successful, and that Lieutenant Evans was saved. So
That's
yeah,
awesome, man.
Tom Crean's was a fucking badass guy.
Tom Crean. Shout out to Tom Crean.
Yeah, so anyways, so Shackleton's ship was recently discovered, right? Almost 10,000 feet down below the ice.
Wow.
They had video and pictures of this ship. They were broadcast all over the world the last day, and all the experts. I'm no expert. I've always been fascinated with shipwrecks, with buried treasure, with lost gold. It fascinates me.
Huh, that's
and
pretty cool.
this ship is in absolutely immaculate condition. It's pristine. It looks like it sank yesterday. It's unreal. This ship sank 3 years after the Titanic, which I'm going to hit on in a second because there's a connection between these two things.
You said it sank 3 centuries after the Titanic?
3 years.
3 years.
3 years.
Jesus Christ. 3 years after the
centuries,
Titanic.
come on.
I'm sorry.
The Titanic sank in 1912.
Okay.
And the Endurance sank in 1915.
Okay.
But hey, if you check out some pictures of the Endurance, the whole metallic word, the Endurance, the name on the side of the ship is still there. All the wood is still perfectly intact. It's not.
Can you post a picture on the IG? For
I will
people to see?
100%
Awesome.
post it. It's huge news. And one of the experts that was talking on it, of course, once this broke, like this is probably one of the greatest maritime historical, guess shipwrecks discovered since the Titanic. Which is funny because they both sank around, a few years apart. Yeah, so it looks like it sank yesterday. It's almost 10,000 meters below the surface of the ocean. And the reason that one of the experts said that it was so well preserved, they were blown away. They were they've never seen anything like this before. They couldn't believe it. Like the ship is intact. It's 170 years underwater. And it's like the wood. It's made out of wood, which usually if that was a Mediterranean shipwreck or anywhere like that, the oceans would have like...
Was that kind of like maybe like woolly mammoths and stuff like that were frozen in ice and the ice preserved them?
There you go.
Saber-toothed tigers and woolly mammoths.
Yeah. I know woolly mammoths for sure. They've got full... And they dug a baby woolly mammoth out of the ice before, fully intact.
Oh, that must be why like sci-fi movies talk about freezing, kind of freezing us or cryo-freezing us.
Yeah, like
and then coming back alive.
Demolition Man.
Like Demolition Man. I think Walt Disney had his.
Demolition was a great Man was a great movie.
I know. I've been thinking about it a lot lately.
Stallone had some great movies in the fucking 80s and 90s.
We're getting off the topic,
Yeah.
but I've been thinking about Demolition Man a lot.
But anyways, the reason that this guy that was part of the expedition said that the ship was in such good condition is that there was no wood-eating microorganisms that feed on wood because the water was too cold. So they wouldn't have any wood shipwrecks. So there'd be no wood in that water. So those wood-eating microorganisms don't exist there, and that's why the ship is in such
cold?
condition. Because it's too cold.
Too cold, so there's no wood-eating
Microorganisms there.
microorganisms.
And that's why the ship, I would recommend anybody that's interested in anything like that, they've probably already heard about it, go on and check out the pictures of this ship. It's fascinating. But one thing that ties, so Tom Crean, the guy that was on the ship with Ernest Shackleton, he was Irish. Ernest Shackleton was Irish, okay? The Endurance is one of the most famous shipwrecks ever to be found. And the number one most famous shipwreck to be found was the Titanic. And that also ties into this story. One is that Ernest Shackleton was brought in to give evidence about the sinking of the Titanic by the British Wreck Commission inquiry, which they carried out an inquiry, of course, after the Titanic sank. A few months later, they brought all the survivors in, the captains, the people who built the ship, blah, 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 whatever. And they had to give testimony. Ernest Shackleton was brought in to give his testimony. He wasn't on the ship, but he was like, a seafaring man with loads of knowledge on ships.
Expert, right?
An expert, exactly. That's what he was. He brought in as an expert witness. What ties the Titanic to this story and the whole theme of this podcast being Irish is that, guess where the Titanic was built, Yank?
Oh, Ireland, huh?
The Titanic was built in Ireland.
Oh, shit.
The Titanic was built in Belfast by Harlem and Wolff Shipping Company. So, what does that tell you? Two of the most famous shipwrecks ever had a connection to Ireland. One was the Endurance, which was just recently found, Ernest Shackleton, Tom Crean, and then the Titanic, which was built in Ireland.
Wow.
So either A, don't ever buy a ship that was built in Ireland, or B, don't sail on a ship with an Irish captain. I don't fucking know. But this blew my mind. This fascinated me. Like, I love that kind of stuff. I love history. I love archaeology. This kind of stuff has always fascinated me since I've been a kid. And when I seen that story the last day, it blew my mind. And the last thing I want to tie into that is that there was a crazy coincidence. They found the wreck of Shackleton's Endurance 100 years to the day that he died.
Whoa.
How crazy is that?
So what, 2015?
That
You mean...
They found the wreck
Okay.
this week. They found the wreck this week.
Okay.
And he died 100 years ago, that day that they found it.
Exact same day.
Exact same day, 100 years ago, he
That's
died.
magical, man.
How crazy is that?
So in the movie Titanic,
Yeah.
Leonardo DiCaprio, was he Irish in that movie?
Yes, he was.
So all the poor people in the bottom of the boat were Irish. Is that right?
Yeah, the majority.
And the boat was built in Ireland by Irish people.
Yes.
And the Irish people that were on the boat were all poor and in the bottom.
Yep.
That's kind of screwed up.
Yeah. In the bottom part of the Titanic boat, you would have all the immigrants, the lower class, the Irish.
Oh.
Yeah.
So I'm still trying to determine what Irish music sounds like because I've been very confused. So all that music in Titanic that Leo's dancing to all crazy, he takes the rich girl downstairs, right? Kate Winslet,
Yeah.
and they're dancing. That's all Irish music,
Yeah,
right?
that would be traditional Irish music.
Cool. Yeah, we want to try to play some of that on the podcast very soon.
Traditional Irish music is beautiful.
Yeah.
There's a lot of beautiful traditional Irish music. A lot of flute. We use a lot of flute. Bowron, which is like a hand drum.
Ireland's a country of beauty, my man.
I will stand behind that. Yes, I'm
right?
not
Like
this,
the
I'm not
like
this
the countryside.
big. I'm not this big, crazy, proud Irish man. Like I don't. You know what I mean? Yeah, Ireland. Whatever. I was born in Ireland. You don't choose where you're fucking born. You know what I mean? It's
but like
cool.
Taiwan, I would say Taiwan's a country of beauty.
Amazing beauty.
Yeah.
But Ireland too, it is, and we've got a good culture for music. I believe music, storytelling, poetry, and writing, which I love. You know what I mean? I love that. I love that part of being Irish. I love that about being Irish. That we come from that, and it's encouraged in us when we're young and we're growing up. I think, and it was in me. So, I love being Irish for that reason. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things I don't really care about being Irish for. But one of those.
I want to get into some Irish music.
Man.
Yeah, I'm infatuated not only by Irish women, but also the country Ireland and Scotland, and what else is over there?
Wales, England.
Okay, I guess England a little bit, but like Ireland and Scotland. I don't know why I'm infatuated by both these countries.
A lot of history there, man.
I don't know anything about them. That's why I love talking to you because I don't know nothing about it, and I think it's interesting, and I think a lot of Americans are also interested in it because why? We got a lot of plastic Paddies in the U.S., man. They're very proud of their culture and their ethnicity.
Yeah, good for them. Good for them.
I don't want to say
Irish
something
Americans,
I don't want to say something not true.
Yep.
But I reckon they don't know that much about Ireland because I'm a pretty good example of kind of an average American.
Yeah.
Kind of. But I don't know any of the stuff that you talk about Ireland. I don't know any of this stuff. I don't know Irish history.
Say a lot of those Irish Americans wouldn't know much about Ireland. They probably know a lot about Ireland, but
maybe so. My Irish ancestry is a little bit more distant.
Okay.
My grandfather's half Spanish, half Native American.
Man.
So I'm pretty close to that, right? But I don't have like a grandma that's like 100% Irish.
Yeah. Okay.
I would assume maybe some of my friends actually do, so they're a little bit more connected with their Irish ancestry.
Yep.
But it's not something that's taught in the U.S. We don't learn about Irish culture or Scottish. We learn about American culture.
Yeah, America.
I feel like that's how I remember. It wasn't until I got to college and I started learning Asian history and stuff like that.
Fascinating.
Very
the
fascinating.
Mongols.
Well, also just learning about the Vietnam War, the Korean War, all those wars, but not hearing them from America's perspective or hearing them from a more global factual perspective.
I'd love to know what they teach them in history class in England.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. When you're the conqueror, you're either the conquered or you're the conqueror.
Yeah.
And England was just a country that went around colonizing everywhere. So what did they teach those guys in history in England?
Well, they weren't the only ones. Spain,
I know they
Spain
don't.
Did that
I
a lot
know they
too.
don't teach them true Irish history. That's for sure, for damn sure.
In Ireland.
In fucking England, there's no way they do. And I'm not saying that shitting on England at all.
Yeah. And you're saying in England they don't teach real Irish history?
Of course they couldn't.
Because
let's say you go to high school in England. You think they're going to teach them about all the shit they done to Ireland and to the Irish people?
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
No
I see what
chance.
you're saying. Like in Japan.
There you go.
When they teach about World War II.
Steeped in blood.
Or North Korea, right? I'm reading the Kim, Yeonmi Park book right now, and she's talking about what they teach in schools. Yeah.
So they definitely can't. It's like, but you know what? On that note, Yank, I don't ever remember being taught about Ernest Shackleton or Tom Crean in school when I was growing up.
You should be taught about the heroes of your country, right?
Fucking awesome. Like
me, I learned so much about Christopher Columbus. You got to learn about your heroes.
I was just about to say, they'd never taught us about Ernest Shackleton or Tom Crean growing up in school when I went to national school or secondary school, but they taught us all about fucking little old Christopher Columbus, who was murdering,
in Ireland?
raping, robbing,
they
and
taught you
stealing.
the truth? They taught you the truth.
What?
About Christopher Columbus.
No, they didn't teach us. I thought
you just said they did.
No. They taught us about Christopher Columbus and how he was a mighty good man.
Oh, okay. So they taught you the same thing that they
teach everybody.
The U.S. taught me.
They teach you about Christopher Columbus like they teach everybody about Christopher Columbus. But there's a great song. I think it's by Bunny Wailer and Bob Marley's on that track as well. Bob Marley, my favorite artist of all time, and it's called "You Can't Fool the Youth." And he goes on a nice little rant about Christopher Columbus in that song.
Well, I'll tell you what, the U.S. sure did a good job fooling me and just about every other American in the world.
So yeah, shout out to any teachers there in Ireland, or anywhere else. Teach your students, teach them about, but they got to read from textbooks. Most of the time they got to read from textbooks, and they don't really get to teach them. You know what I mean?
I think they teach us about people like that as heroes because they want us to have a hero mindset.
Well, Christopher Columbus weren't no fucking hero.
No, but they taught him to us as if he were a hero.
Yeah.
And I think that
but
comes
you got
back to what...
you got real heroes like fucking Tom Crean, who actually like done that crazy shit in the Antarctica, and Shackleton got all their men out of there.
Yeah.
Anyways, that was my little bit, Yank, on happy St. Paddy's Day to everybody tomorrow.
Happy St. Paddy's Day. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Hope everybody have a good time. Drink responsibly.
I mean,
as if that's gonna happen.
Unfortunately, what do you do on St. Patrick's Day?
Me, you know what? I have not celebrated St. Patrick's Day in years.
Okay.
And there's a few reasons why. I'm not going to get into them now in this podcast. Yeah, to me, I'm not into the whole drinking culture.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say, is that in America, St. Patrick's Day, the only thing you do is get trashed and drink green beer and wear green. And if you don't wear green, you get pinched. But, it's actually a very, I don't want to get judged, but it's actually like quite a bad holiday.
It's pretty much the same thing in Ireland.
Just because, and I don't mean that, I hope no Irish people get mad at me, but because in America, the only thing you do is drink all day long and get obliterated. So, like, nothing good ever comes from it.
That's exactly what happens in Ireland. But saying that, I will say this. I haven't celebrated St. Patrick's Day in years. I've outgrown that. I don't give a fuck about it, really. But when I was a teenager growing up in Ireland, St. Patrick's Day was awesome.
Yeah.
They had parades, like massive parades, and you would go to the pubs. There'd be a lot of live traditional Irish music being played in the bars.
Sounds like fun.
But, man, I've seen a lot of scraps and shit go down on Paddy's Day.
That's kind of what I'm thinking about right now. Like, if you
drinking and fighting.
If you start drinking at 11 a.m., by the end of the day, there's just bound to be fights and crying. You know what I mean?
11 a.m. is late to start drinking on Paddy's Day. Back then, we would get up on Paddy's Day when I was living in a city. We get up in the morning about 8 o'clock, 8:30. By 9 o'clock, we've had a full Irish breakfast. And then by 9:30, we're already drinking.
Question.
Yep.
So on New Year's Day, it's been a ritual for my mom and my family to eat bratwurst and sauerkraut on New Year's Day to have a prosperous year coming to you.
Okay. You guys are German?
Her parents, grandparents, I think, are German.
Okay.
Yeah, so she's been giving me bratwurst and sauerkraut every New Year's Day since I was a baby, or whatever.
Sauerkraut has to be the most unfucking appealing name for a food. Sauerkraut.
I've always hated it too, but then I found out it was a probiotic, and I started eating it pretty regularly.
Hansel, eat up your sauerkraut before you go to school.
Oh, no.
Sauerkraut for dinner. Paddy. Sauerkraut for lunch, breakfast. And snack and sauerkraut too.
Non-politically correct Paddy's going.
Sauerkraut. Sauerkraut's got to be the worst name for food ever.
The question I wanted to ask you was, do you guys eat any special foods on St. Patrick's Day? Like like for us, we have Christmas, Thanksgiving. Like Thanksgiving, we eat turkey.
Yep.
Right? Christmas, we eat, ham, everything. We just eat everything on Christmas,
we eat turkey and ham on Christmas. St. Patrick's Day, no, there's no... You might eat a Guinness pie, which is like a beef pie made with Guinness. It's pretty damn good, but not typically. Not that I'm aware of, or not that I was aware of. We would have me and my friends or whoever else. We would have a traditional Irish breakfast in the morning.
What's that?
A fry up. So an Irish fry consists of sausages, pork sausages, black and white pudding, bacon, eggs, baked beans, and toast, and a good old cup of Irish Lions or Barry's tea, which I talked about before. Not a big fan.
Okay, what did you say?
Whatever.
Black and white pudding?
Yes.
What is that?
It's blood pudding.
Like blood, like in Taiwan we have the blood sausages.
Yeah, but it's not nothing like that. As far as I know, black pudding is the blood of the cow and white pudding is the blood of the pig.
What?
I could be wrong.
What? Okay, hold on. Black and white pudding. Black pudding is the blood of a cow and white pudding is the blood of a pig? This is crazy. I've never heard of such a thing.
Oh, it's awesome.
Oh, and blood sausage. I'm sorry, listeners, you probably don't know what that is, but it's really disgusting. But they'll make like soup with blood or like blood sausages, blood sausage rice cakes, and all this really weird stuff. It's not good. Don't try it. I don't know. Maybe you should try it. I don't like it. I like a lot of weird things, but I do not like that.
Okay, black and white pudding. It's made with blood, generally pig's blood, but it can also be made with oxen, goose, duck, or venison. A white pudding is made with pork and bacon, and it's
Okay, I got different results over
Okay.
here.
Hit me with your results.
Black and white pudding are types of sausage from Great Britain.
Yep.
Black pudding is a sausage made from blood, meat, fat, oatmeal, and bread or potato fillers.
Yep.
White pudding, the same as black pudding, minus the blood. And Irish bacon, taken from the back of the pig instead of the belly, are a must at any Irish breakfast.
Okay, so there you go. So black pudding, so it's a blood pudding.
Whoa, that's
Yeah.
crazy. I don't think an American would want to eat
It's
that.
it's a man. It sounds bad, but it tastes awesome.
Is
You
it
fry
sweet?
No, it's not sweet. It's more salty, but you taste that. If you ever come to the Ireland with me, Yank, you will be having a full Irish breakfast. I don't even know how to describe the taste of it. You just gotta taste it. It's one of those things.
Huh. All right. Well,
It's like
yeah.
it's like describing a color to a blind man.
Yeah. You gotta
You
take
know?
me. You gotta take me to Ireland.
Man,
someday.
you ever come to Ireland, you're gonna have a fucking Irish breakfast and a good pint of Guinness, because the Guinness in Ireland is definitely better.
I struggle to drink beer. I really don't enjoy it, and
I'm not a beer
had-
drinker either, but that's not a beer. It's an ale or a stout, isn't it?
I've always had I want to say adversity to Guinness specifically because it's just so thick.
Oh man, you try a pint of Guinness in Ireland.
Maybe.
Smooth pint
Maybe.
of Guinness. You gotta try a pint of Guinness in Ireland, Yank. So there's this myth, or there's this, belief that the Guinness in Ireland tastes better than anywhere else in the world. Guinness is brewed in Ireland in the Guinness factory in Dublin City, right? Now I've travelled to many, many different countries, and I've tried a pint of Guinness. I will usually try a pint of Guinness. I'm not a drinker. I'm not really a drinker at all, but I wanted to test this out. I wanted to, see if this myth held any water or any weight. And I can tell you right now that it fucking does. Absolutely 100%.
Guinness in Ireland is totally different from Guinness anywhere else in the world.
Guinness in Ireland tastes much better than anywhere else. I've had a pint of Guinness in Vietnam. I've had a pint of Guinness in Cambodia. I've had a pint of Guinness in Taiwan, a pint of Guinness in Australia, a pint of Guinness in America, a pint of Guinness in Canada. And I didn't get one good pint of Guinness in any of those places.
Mm.
I only drank half of a pint of Guinness. Not even half in some of these places that I've never drank a full pint of Guinness in any of these countries. And in Ireland, it's smooth like milk. There's a technique to pouring it, and there's a skill, there's an art to pouring a good pint of Guinness.
So it's like Taiwan has this tea culture, Ireland has this Guinness culture.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Nice, cool. Well, I'll try one, but first I got to get to Ireland, right?
Man, we go to Ireland, we're going to drink some Guinness.
God, that would be awesome.
Have an Irish breakfast and drink some damn Guinness.
This sounds fun. All right, Paddy, as we are nearing the end of this podcast.
Yep.
Actually, I have a few more questions. It's been kind of fun focusing on Ireland the whole day.
Okay.
Uh,
This is like a St. Patrick's Day special, I guess.
St. Patrick's Day special. Awesome. I love it. I think it's cool.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. All right, so a couple questions.
Yep.
Who is your favorite Irish athlete?
That's a tough
I
question.
didn't even know Ireland had sports. I'm so sorry, everybody.
So Ireland's national sport is Gaelic football, GA, and hurling.
What a great. That should have been my question. Gaelic football, is that normal? Is that different than normal football?
Yeah, you can pick.
Is it what the Brits call football?
No, that's soccer.
Okay.
Gaelic football is different. You pick.
Hold on. So if British football is soccer, then maybe Irish football is baseball.
No, Irish football is Irish football is Gaelic football. They call it GA, the Gaelic. I don't even know
Well,
whatever.
what is it?
I don't like.
How is
GA.
it different than regular football?
You pick up the ball.
American football.
You actually kick the ball with your feet as well, but you can pick it up with your hands. You can fist the ball to somebody with your hand, like in volleyball. You can score a goal, which is 3 points. You can kick it over the bar, which is
Okay, this is all
1
sounds
point.
like regular American football, except for the fact that you can hit it like
and
a
you use a
volleyball.
round ball.
Whoa.
And it's a contact sport, but I don't like Gaelic football. And to be honest, I had a big.
Hold on,
I had a
rewind
big.
just for a couple seconds.
Yep.
So you can kick it.
Yeah.
You can pick it up with your hands.
Yes.
You can hit it like a volleyball,
Yeah. To other people and even score a
To
goal
other
with your hand.
people.
Yeah.
and it's round.
The ball is round. Yeah.
Whoa, that's crazy.
Yeah.
All
But
right.
I grew up in a place where people that played Gaelic football were like frat boys in America.
Well, it's the same in
There was
America.
a clique,
yeah,
you know. There was a clique, and if you didn't play Gaelic football, you were an
Yeah.
outsider. And people that play Gaelic football, they think they're patriots of Ireland. Like they think they're, but they, you know what? The funny thing is, they play against themselves.
Mm.
But they're like, you know what I mean? They go out there on the field like it's their life. It's a bit. I'm going to get a lot of hate for this, but I don't give a fuck. I grew up in a small town where it was, if you didn't play Gaelic football, you were considered like an outsider or a fucking like a druggie or a rocker or whatever like that. So I had a big taste for Gaelic football and the culture behind it growing up.
Well, I think it would be the same for
And I
me.
think that's
It
fair to
was
say. I think that's fair to fucking say.
Yeah, it was like the jocks and the preppy kids,
That's
right?
Yeah, that's what it was.
And then I tried to play for like 1 year, but I just
Yeah.
got molded by all the other bigger kids, right?
Yeah.
They just mold me
There's
down.
a machoism to it, and there's just something to it that I don't like. I'm not shitting on it, whatever. I'm just
And
telling
then
you
you
my...
became a boxer.
Yeah, I did, yeah. But boxing is also huge in Ireland. So if I was to pick my favourite Irish athlete, I would probably go with, momentarily, right now, I would go with Conor McGregor.
Ooh,
And I know
wow.
I know he's done a lot of crazy shit over the years, but when that guy was rising up through the ranks, his mentality and his skill was just second to none.
I was
Amazing.
I was listening to the Rogan podcast the other day, and
Yep.
Rogan seems to think that his best days are over. But Bisping
Very possible.
Bisping was on. He
Michael
did another.
Bisping, yeah?
he did another podcast with Rogan.
Okay.
And Bisping.
Michael Bisping.
Sorry, I'm
think
very
he's-
sorry,
he's
Michael
from
Bisping.
Manchester.
I think you're awesome, and you make me laugh so hard. You're very entertaining
The
individual
Count.
to listen to. But he said he thinks potentially Conor McGregor's best days are not behind him.
That's also very possible. But I did see Conor McGregor hitting pads the last day, or he was hitting the big round cushion pad, and I thought he looked slow. He's gained a lot of weight. He's gained a lot of muscle mass, which does slow you down. I thought McGregor looked slow in his last few fights. I hope he's again. Who am I to say? But like when he went to that whole boxing style and that whole close guard style and trying to walk down Dustin Poirier, a big guy who can throw shots and box. Poirier was moving off and changing the angles very well in that second fight where he knocked out McGregor. McGregor was trying to walk him down with bad boxing. To be honest with you, he was off balance. He was leaning over on his front foot trying to throw his shots, and But when McGregor was rising up through the ranks in the UFC or even before that, in Cage Warriors and stuff like that, he was fucking brilliant. His judgment of distance and timing was so good, and his speed, his accuracy with the left hand, his kicks, he had everything. He had it all. And then he fought Mayweather, and I thought that after the Mayweather fight, not just because of the money, but I thought his style had changed. His style of fighting had changed. Probably because he trained heavily for a boxing fight. So, but McGregor, I put McGregor up there with one of my favourite athletes right now. Back in the day, Steve Collins, who was an Irish boxer, two-time world champion. He had some legendary fights. The Celtic Warrior, Steve Collins, he'd be up there too. Yeah, mainly boxers, I guess. Katie Taylor's good. She's women's world champion and Olympic gold medalist.
I'm sorry, I wanted to chime in real quick. Rogan's argument was that McGregor now has like a metal plate in his leg and screws or something like that.
He'd probably have a titanium rod in his leg from breaking his leg like that, shattering his leg,
So
with pins. So yeah, I'd say favourite athlete at the moment.
okay,
When
cool.
he comes back, Conor McGregor.
All right, now who is your favorite Irish band or it could be singer?
Oh man, this is a tough question. We got a lot.
Celine Dion.
Celine Dion, isn't she Canadian?
I don't know.
Fuck. Yeah, my favorite. There's a few. Okay, I got to give Ireland a big props and shout out because we have some fucking amazing music talent in Ireland.
Stereotypically, I think of punk rock.
Punk rock was more from Britain.
Okay.
Punk rock, the Sex Pistols from England, and New York, wasn't it the Ramones? In Ireland, I would have to go with a band called Aslan, maybe Aslan. Aslan are a band from Dublin, and they have a performance, and it's live in Vicar Street in 1999, I believe it is, and it's absolute magic. It's pure magic. The lyrics are poetry. The songs are sang with soul. It's real. It's real music, and the musicians, that all the band are just talented, super talented. It's real. So anybody listening, check out Aslan live in Vicar Street 1999. But also a big shout out to Van Morrison.
What? He's Irish?
Van Morrison's from the Northern Ireland.
What?
Amazing. Thin Lizzy from Dublin. Oh fuck, Phil Lynott from Thin Lizzy. Do you know the first?
Thin Lizzy.
Thin Lizzy, the first Irish rock star was Phil Lynott from Thin Lizzy, and he was black. So big shout out to Thin Lizzy.
Wow. And Van Morrison.
U2.
They're Irish?
U2 are from fucking Dublin, man. Are you kidding me? And U2, fuck, the Joshua Tree, Rattle and Hum. So it's a very tough question to answer. Because Ireland has some amazing talent when it comes to music. We're known for it, you know what I mean? I was in a band for 7 years, you know? My family's very musical. I was brought up with music. I love music. Music is my medicine.
Wow.
Music is my medicine.
My family's not musical, but they did get me a guitar at a very young age because me and my dad were both obsessed with AC/DC.
Yeah, I seen AC/DC in their hometown in Australia.
That's cool. I've seen them too, but it was in the U.S.
Awesome.
And,
Hey, still, they put on an amazing show.
They are, dude. And Yes, I was fascinated by AC/DC, so they bought me a guitar when I was in like 6th grade, and started learning guitar.
Also, I forgot to mention one band as well from Ireland, the Cranberries.
Really?
The Cranberries too,
Wow.
yeah, a fucking great band. Yeah, really great band. I'm sorry to any other Irish bands that I missed, but there's plenty of them. There's plenty of them. We're
Cool.
musically talented.
I did not know all those groups were from Ireland.
Yeah.
All right. I guess the last one will be, what's your favorite Irish food? A sack of potatoes? I'm sorry.
Yeah, to beat you over the head with.
Justified.
Yeah, my favorite Irish food. Okay, if I'm talking about home cooking, I like an Irish fry, but home cooked, not out.
What's an Irish fry?
I explained this to you earlier.
Sorry.
Bacon, sausage, black pudding, white pudding, beans.
So it's like a breakfast platter.
Yes.
Sorry, I was kind of far.
plate.
So it's like a breakfast platter.
Yeah, on a plate with toast and tea. I like the odd one of those, but cooked at home. Like home cooked. They're usually not that good when you get them out in a restaurant. I don't think they're usually that good. The black pudding's usually dry, the white pudding's usually dry. But also, my favourite thing to eat in Ireland is a Sunday roast Sunday dinner. And my mother, she makes a damn good Sunday roast.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Sometimes here, if I think about a Sunday roast here, because in Taiwan, you just don't get that. It's rice. I eat rice pretty much every day, just vegetables, chicken and stuff like that. And sometimes I'll think about Ireland. It's like, people ask me, what do you miss about Ireland or what do you miss about being at home? And it's like, I miss my family, of course, and the dog. We've got a great dog at home. And the rivers. Like, I can head down these abandoned railway tracks for miles, passing rivers, crossing old bridges and forests, and I'll see nobody for hours.
Awesome. That's
so
awesome.
I think about that when I think about Ireland, and I also think about my mother's Sunday roast dinner, which is like, she might make a roast chicken in the oven with roast potatoes. She mashes carrot and parsnip together.
What's parsnip?
It's a type of vegetable. I think it might be like a turnip. I don't really know what it. You son of a cunt, you.
I'm sorry.
I know.
I have the same questions that our listeners are gonna have. What is a parsnip? It sounds like a fucking turnip. Parsnip. I bet it's red.
Okay, so yeah, I have no idea what a parsnip is, Yank. Tell me what a parsnip is.
No worries. A parsnip is a root vegetable closely related to carrot and parsley. Yeah.
Okay, so there you go. So you mash some carrot with some parsnip, and then we have Yorkshire puddings. You know
parsnip, parsley. So it's related.
You know what Yorkshire puddings are?
Yorkshire pudding?
Yeah.
No.
Yorkshire puddings.
Yorkshire.
It's like a pastry you make. It's like, it comes in a circular form, and I would stuff some chicken in there, some potato in there, and some vegetables in there, and then pour some gravy on the top and eat it.
I love gravy.
Oh man, so that's a Sunday dinner. And kale. I like kale with my.
That's
Sunday
common
roast.
in Ireland?
Yeah, kale's very common in Ireland.
No way! Wow,
yeah.
Interesting.
So that's it. So I miss the Sunday dinners, and that's probably my favorite food at home is Irish Sunday dinner.
Nice. I'm trying to remember because we do have a lot of Irish pubs back home.
Yep.
I'm trying to remember what I would eat when I went there. I can't really remember, man. I think it might have been fish and chips was always there.
Okay, yeah.
There was another time I went there with one of my best friends, but I cannot remember for the life of
Guinness
me what
pie,
we
probably.
ate.
Guinness pie.
Maybe like something sausage.
Okay, look. As a country, we are not known for our fucking culinary arts. Ireland is not a country that's known for its food. Irish people, if you're listening, I'm sorry, but you're not. Just go to any other country, and it's like Spain, fucking Germany. Here in Asia, food is such a huge part of the culture, and there's such an array of food, and it's in Ireland that's not really the case. That's it.
All right. Well, yeah. This is a St. Patrick's Day special.
Yeah, all right. Let's wrap it up with that, and it's just to keep the episode nice, short, and sweet.
Beautiful.
And
beautiful.
during the
Thank
week,
you, dude, for educating me. That's awesome. I'm fascinated by Ireland, so that was cool. I got to learn quite a bit.
Okay. I mean, I'm a little rough. I'm a little rough on my memory when it comes to a lot of this stuff.
And there was a book I was reading or something, or a book I was listening to, and it's like the more you learn, the more you realize how much you don't know.
Yeah.
And like learning this much more about Ireland,
yeah.
even which bands were from Ireland,
yeah,
makes me actually have many more questions.
Okay, cool.
Like I forgot about the Celt Druid thing.
Yeah.
I want to know about that. I think I read a book about it when I was little.
Man, Irish history is fascinating. European history as a whole is fascinating. It's really all history to me, man. All history for me is fascinating. Asian history, the Mongols. Yeah. I listened to a 10-hour-long podcast from Dan Carlin. I think his name is Dan Carlin on YouTube. What's the name of his show?
Hardcore History.
Hardcore History. Listen, if anybody here is interested in history and they've never heard Dan Carlin, listen. The Wrath of the Cans was 10 hours long. It was one of the greatest podcasts I ever listened to.
Wow.
Dan Carlin's Wrath of the Cans, the history of Genghis Khan and the Mongols. Amazing stuff.
Nice. That's what's up.
That's the only time in school you had my attention. in history class, in art class, and in English class.
For me, it's literature class because I loved reading
Well,
novels.
English class, we called it English class, literature
reading,
class, yeah.
Reading novels and talking about them and writing about them has always been my favorite thing to do. And I had 1 year in Taiwan where I got to teach like that, where I was teaching Animal Farm, 1984, The Giver, Outsiders, which is a really, 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 really good book that not a lot of people. I don't have it, but it's a great book.
You've told me about that book
before.
It's
so good, man.
So yeah, a big happy St. Patrick's Day to all our Irish listeners, to all our Irish American listeners, to all our Irish people around the world.
And our American listeners who are not Irish.
To all our listeners. Happy Paddy's Day, happy St. Patrick's Day. Hope you all have a good one. Drink responsibly. I know that's not going to happen. That's not the point of it.
Wear green or you're going to get pinched.
And yeah, we will probably release another episode during the week. We'll release 2 episodes this week because this one we're keeping it short and sweet and we're just basically talking about Irishness and St. Paddy's Day.
Yeah, baby.
Also, go on to Paddy and the Yank _podcast on Instagram. And we're always sticking up different types of videos. Hit us up. Please like and share the podcast. And thanks for all your support.
Yeah, and if you guys got any other questions about Ireland for Paddy, send away. American listeners, if you have any questions about Ireland, send them in for Paddy. And Irish listeners, if you guys want to talk shit about Paddy, send them my way, baby.
You know what I'll do? I'll end this podcast with a little bit of an Irish tune.
All right, cheers.
How about that?
Do it.
I'm going to do my best impression of this song. And it goes, on Raglan Road of an autumn day. And that's it. Boom! I'm going to leave it at that. Peace! That's an amazing song. Check it out. On Raglan Road, Luke Kelly. Boom!